All right, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for tuning in. Rob here with another Fusion 360 project. If you had tuned in on Tuesday at 10 a.m., you would have seen me epically fail in trying to make a piston mechanism in Fusion 360. So we're going to take another stab at that today. If you weren't here on Tuesday, I'll quickly show you the linkage arm project I had done. I 3D printed, and that worked quite well, as you can see. The only thing is, of course, I didn't leave any tolerances for the pins on all the hinges. So not all the hinges work properly. Like this linkage arm can come off. The pins that were supposed to hold that in place don't fit. The pin for the hinge on the little box, that didn't fit. I tried to drill it out and then hammered it, and it broke. Only one side of it is in. The other side of the hinge comes loose. But overall, it works pretty well, and I'm pretty darn happy with that. So I just wanted to share that with you. But I completed that on the first try. I'm on my third try of trying to get this piston mechanism to work. If you can see on my screen, it says Piston version 3 because, yeah, this is pushing my skills a little bit. So we're going to try again. I have a new idea. On Tuesday, I had tried to put this together and just did not think through the design very carefully, and it was completely wrong. I mean, the design was terrible. There's no way in a million years it would have worked. I have an idea for today. I think we'll be successful. So before we get started, I do want to shout out Wolf and Raven for our awesome tunes for today. Again, I'm playing the Ace of Space album, which you can check out on YouTube, and you can stream it on any major service. I'm going to throw a link in the description for this album on YouTube. Wolf and Raven is my favorite synthwave artist of all time. Absolutely love their stuff. And you can listen to all their music on YouTube ad-free, which is great. So definitely support these guys. They're amazing, and they release a ton of music very regularly. So thanks, Wolf and Raven, for the awesome music. And without any further babble, we're going to get started. So I have a little note card here I'm going to jot down some measurements on. But essentially, our piston mechanism, I'm going to use a base just like this, base just like we have here. I'm actually going to flip this upside down. And I'm going to have an articulating piston kind of on this edge of it. And then on this side, I was originally going to have like sort of a large crank, and then you can hand crank that and it will have a linkage that moves that piston in and out. It'll have a big circle, and an arm will articulate around the circle to get the articulation of the piston. I had a little support in the center of this, and then a big wheel on either side. That did not work at all. Complete waste. So what I think I'm going to do is have a base like this, and I'm going to have an offset pillar kind of coming up this direction with a crank, and then dead center of this will be a wheel, and attached to that wheel will be a linkage that will run to the piston itself. So essentially everything's going to kind of be offset so that the linkage, which I'm actually going to pull this one off so we can use it as an example, the linkage will actually sit dead center with the wheel and the mount for that being slightly offset. So I think that's going to work. If that wasn't clear, it will become clear as I start to put this together. But in thinking about this, I think that's going to be the way to go. So let's go ahead and get started here. I have my note card to jot down some measurements so I know. I'm constantly modeling things and not writing down my measurements. So I have my note card today just to jot some things down. So we're just going to get started with a center point rectangle, and we'll do 200. Well, actually, we'll do that as 50, and the other is 200. I want it in this orientation. Okay, perfect. And then what we're going to do is actually round off the edges with circles this time instead of doing it with the arc tool, so I know it's perfectly rounded. That's just another way of doing the same thing that I was doing with the arc tool. But all right, we'll press pull this 5 millimeters. One thing I learned last time that's really interesting is the press pull tool doesn't just extrude. If you hover over the icon, it says press pull modifies the existing geometry using offset, extrude, or fillet. So depending on the geometry of the object you're working with, the push pull may not necessarily extrude. It may offset the face, or it may actually fillet the edge, which is really interesting. And as we go into there's actually an extrude tool on this sort of create set of tools. So I'm going to be probably using those interchangeably. Extrude will only extrude, whereas push-pull will modify it in other ways. I did not know that. I don't know if that was always the case, but at any rate, I thought that was pretty interesting. Anyways, so I think to start out with, I'm going to do something kind of strange, and it's solely just for orientation. What I'm going to do, I want the linkage arm to be dead center on this base, and everything else to be kind of offset. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a sketch on the top of this object, and I'm going to use a center point rectangle and basically make a guide. And I'm just going to quickly grab my ruler and see if I can figure out the size of this linkage. I'm probably going to make the linkage 5 millimeters wide. So in this direction, we'll make it 5. And then in this direction, I'm just going to make this 200. And I'm not actually going to use this for anything. I'm just going to push-pull this upwards like 1 millimeter. And so now I just have a guide of where I want to measure everything else. What I'm going to do later is actually push-pull that back down into the base, and you won't even see it. So essentially, I'm going to need my linkage sitting here, which is great. So the next thing I think I'm going to do is I think I want to figure out how thick I want the wheel to be in my crank. So basically, the wheel is going to be offset, and then this linkage arm will be connected to the wheel. So this is 50 millimeters wide. This I just made 5 millimeters wide, which means we have 45 millimeters to work with on either side. And it's actually going to be nothing on this side. I could have offset this and then put another linkage, but that seems too complicated. So 45. Okay, so that means I could probably make the wheel. I think I'm going to make it dead center on this section and 20 millimeters in length, in width. I think that's what we're going to do. So, let's get a sketch going here. I think what we're going to do is, oh, my orientation's all weird. Let's get a rectangle. And I think I'm going to sketch a rectangle. So that's 20, right? And then 30, what does that look like? So that's, maybe I'll do 20 by like 50. So it's like a kind of a large, I don't know about that. Let me do 30. I don't know. I don't exactly know what I'm doing with this right now. I'm just kind of flying by the seat of my pants as usual. All right, here's what we're going to do. Change in plans. I am going to make 10 by 30. Okay, and I'm going to push-pull this upwards. I think I want the diameter of that wheel to be 50. So we'll push-pull this up 30, right? And then what I'm going to do is sketch on the, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to offset this plane 0.5 millimeters this direction, right? So now I've got this. All right, good. So I am now going to, oh, oops. 30 millimeters. No, I said I was going to make this 50. That's what I want. Okay, great. So I've now got a sketch of a circle that's offset from this piece 1 millimeter. So let's bring this out now. 10. And I'm actually going to press pull this upwards. I'm just doing these all for visuals, so I can figure out how much space I have. Let's bring that out 12, That's intersecting, so we'll do 11.5. So we have some tolerances. Okay, great. So now, okay, so then this can go back down. All right, so we should be good here. So essentially, I'm going to bring this up a little bit more as well. Let's bring that up 35. Okay, 40. Okay, cool. So now... Oh, wait a minute. This isn't going to work either. This isn't going to work either. Okay. Let's back up. I need a crank to be on this side, and the crank is going to hit the support. So I need to make a cylinder that has a split down the middle, and the support for it's going to be in the middle. That's what's going to have to happen here. This one is really throwing me for a loop. Let's take a step back. It's a good idea. It's not going to work. Okay. So what we're going to do in that case... So I have... It's all right. We'll make this work. We'll make this work. All right. So my thought is now, let's make a sketch here. 5 by 30. Okay, cool. And so that's 5 millimeters. Let's push-pull that up 40. Okay, great. So now... here's what we're going to do. I'm super overcomplicating this design, but I don't really know how else to deal with this. There's probably going to be a version 4 and 5 of this. I have another thought of how we can fix this later on, but we're going to figure this out now. So I think what we'll do is let's actually, hold on a minute. I'm going to undo that really quickly. Huh. Center point rectangle. Actually, maybe we'll redo that. I'll just go with it. Okay, cool. All right, so now what I need to do... I'm going to just do something here and see if this works. This is challenging. Oh, center point. Ooh, I should have eaten something this morning. My stomach's grumbling. That's funny. I don't know if y'all heard that. That was pretty loud. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. 6.5? Okay, that'll work. Okay. All right, so... what was it? Oh, wait, hold on a second. I need to edit the sketch. I made this too small. Let's undo that. That's what I needed. Okay. And then I think I press-pulled that 6.5. I remember that from before. So let's see. Press-pull, 6.5. Okay. All right. Very good. Okay, so now this needs to come up. Let's bring that up 50. Nope, too much. Let's bring it up 40. 40. Cool. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I am going to let's see. I need to make an identical wheel on the other side, and then I need a system of connecting this all together. I think what I will probably do is make a sketch Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to make a sketch on this face, right? And I'm actually going to turn this sketch back on so I can get the center point of this circle. And we're going to make a 10 millimeter hole in this, okay? And actually, we're going to make it 10.5 because we need to model with tolerance and not be stupid like I usually am and model everything 100% to scale. -5, I think that's all the way through, right? I think that's all the way through. Let's take a look. I'm just going to move this. It is. Okay, great. All right, so now this should not be too hard. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a sketch on... let's shut this sketch off. I'm going to make a sketch on this face of this shape. And, yep, we're going to sketch there. And then we're going to use the center point circle and make a 10 millimeter circle. And then we'll be able to pull that. Finish sketch. Let's turn the sketches back on. Now I'll be able to take this shape, this face rather. If I can select it, press pull this. That will work. All right, beautiful. Okay, great. So that's good. So now this body should contain that. Very good. Okay, awesome. So now we're going to use the... actually, I have an idea here. Let's sketch this. Center point circle, and we'll do a 5 millimeter circle. Actually, we'll do 5.5 because we need to leave a tolerance. And then I'm going to press pull this, -6. Right? So now we have... Essentially, what we're starting to make is the same pin mechanism that we've used for our hinges. And... you know, wait a minute. Let's stick with this plan. I'm going to stick with this. Okay, cool. So here's what we're going to do now. All right, we're going to make a sketch of a 50 millimeter circle. And I'm going to press pull that, whatever I press pulled this, which I think was 6.5, so they're even. All right, and then I'm going to sketch on top of this. And then we're going to make a center point circle that's 5 millimeters in diameter. And then we're going to press pull that 6 upwards. Right? And so now what I should be able to do is align this edge with this edge and then basically press it inwards. So let's do that. Let me just move this up and rotate it. Okay. I think we're making a bit of progress. I'm going to have a wheel on either side of that support. One's going to have the linkage, and the other's going to have a crank on the opposite side that you'll be able to turn by hand. I could probably set it up where there's a wheel, the support, and then just a crank on the other side without the other wheel. That's probably a more efficient design, but I want to see this one through first and see if it makes any sense. Again, we're probably going to go through a few iterations of this. I probably won't torture you all in sticking through all of this for all of my versions of this, but we're going to at least try and put this to bed today. And as I make iterations of this, I'll print them and show you all. So we need to use our alignment tool to get the center point here with the center point here. There. Okay, very good. Okay, and now that's good. And now we can take this and we can move that in. Too much. Negative, I think 5.5. No, it could sit all the way flush, but I'm just going to leave it for now. Actually, let's get that in just a bit more. Move. All right, cool. Awesome. All right, so there's our wheel. Okay, cool. Awesome. And the hinge design works. So now we'll be able to have a crank on this side that moves completely freely and won't get hit by anything, and a linkage on this side that moves completely freely and won't get hit by anything. So I feel pretty good about that. The only thing that I probably messed up is... Yeah. This might be a problem. No. This isn't going to be a problem. This will be fine. I was thinking how we were going to attach the linkage arm to this wheel. Essentially, what I think I'll do is I'll actually pull a pin out and then the linkage will fit on that, and then it'll have a cap to hold it in place. And that way nothing will obstruct the inside of this. So save this. Looking good so far. Let me just grab a swig of water. All right, let's continue on. So, I think let's make the crank, and I'm just going to make it on this end. I don't think it's going to be anything fancy. Yeah, it's not going to be anything fancy. I'm just going to have a little cylinder coming out of this with maybe like a little ball on the end. That's all. I don't want anything too fancy. So, let's make the cylinder here. We'll make it... that's too close to the edge. I think I want to make it 10 mil in diameter, so we'll do it. I'll make it 5 mil, whatever. Or, you know what? I don't know why I'm going crazy with this. Let's just make it 8 mil. That's fine. And then we'll have that come out. Let's have that come out. I'm just looking at my ruler here. 30 mil. Right, little crank. And just for fun, we'll throw a little sphere on the end of it. Right, just like that. What's happening, Fusion? Oh, error report. Oh, okay. Fusion 360 crashed. That's nice. Let's get Fusion 360 back open. That's never happened to me before. Interesting. All right. These things happen. I wonder why. You know, I have Premiere open. Maybe I'm... Let me close Premiere. Yeah. All right. We'll go back to Fusion here. All right. Close. Okay, so let's open our design. We should have it. That was Piston version 3. We should not have lost anything because I did save it right away. Just a good lesson in making sure you save everything all the time. All right, let's try this again. Save it again. That is so perplexing. When I used the sphere tool, I had an issue. All right. All right, let's try this one more time. All right, so we'll bring that out 30. All right, let's try the sphere tool again and see if we have a crash. If we do, it's going to crash again, watch. Yep. Send report. All right. That's so weird. Using the sphere tool is crashing Fusion 360. I don't think that's anything in my model. My model isn't particularly complicated. I don't know what this is. Okay. All right. Oh, it's just a confirmation that I sent an error report. Okay. Let's let this close, and then we'll reopen Fusion, and let's see what happens. That is so weird. All right, so note to self, no sphere tool for today. Let's go ahead and reopen our file. And hopefully this doesn't continue to happen. So, Piston version 3. Okay, so what we'll do in this case then to just make the little crank look nice, we will just fillet the edge. That's so perplexing. So perplexing. All right. So we'll bring that out 30. And you know what? For the time being, I'm just going to leave it. That looks entirely too long, by the way. Let's bring that in. 25. All right, fine. That's good. All right. That's fine for now. That's fine for now. I'm okay with it. So, great. So now I think it's time to work on the linkage. And I think the linkage arm is going to be... I was going to make it 5 mil. But maybe I'll make it 10 mil. Maybe that makes more sense, and then we can make the pin that goes through at 5. Why don't we do that? So we're going to sketch on this side. I think I have an idea of how this is going to work. We're going to make a 5 mil piece here, and then we're going to press pull this out. I'm going to press pull this out 6. I think that'll be fine. Okay, great. All right, and now I'm actually going to get rid of this. I don't need this anymore. Oh, what? -1. All right, fine. That's gone. We don't care about it anymore. I don't know. That was weird. Okay, so let's make our linkage arm. And I don't know how long it needs to be, but we'll figure that out. So let's save this. And let's get this going. So I'm going to sketch down on the... Nope, that is not the right plane I want to sketch on. Love this track. This is a great one. Okay, so let's go ahead. I'm just going to make a basic rectangle. It's going to be 10 by, I don't know, 100 for now. We can change the size of it as we need. Okay, and then we will press pull this and make it 5 mil in, not 45, but 5 mil. Right, great. And then I want to sketch on top of this. And then I want to make a hole. And it's going to be 5.5. Great. And that's going to get pushed through so we have a hole. It's going to be nothing fancy about this linkage, but it's going to work. I know that for a fact because it worked really well on my little box mechanism. The lever box mechanism. Okay. All right, great. So that's there. Let's move this up and rotate it the right direction. All right, and now what we're going to do is align the center point of this circle with the center point of this circle. And there we are. Beautiful. Okay, so that's good. Now we can grab this. And of course I should be naming all this, but I'm not. 5 mil in. Let's bring it 5.5 in. Great. Okay, awesome. So there's my linkage. I'm going to actually rotate this so it's all... because it's going to basically come down at an angle and hook up to something here. But for the time being, let's get the pin that's going to hold this into place set up. So we're going to sketch on this face and make a center point circle, and we'll make a 3 millimeter, and we'll have this go in 5 millimeters, -5. There we are. Okay, so now we've got a little spot there. So let's design a pin. This is something I've done 100 times, and I should not have too much of a challenge. I'm not sketching in the right place. There we are. Okay, so we'll put the pin on this side. All right, let's see. Let's see what we got. We made that 3, so we should make the inner diameter of that 2.5. So I'll make a 2.5 mil pin, and we will press pull that up 5. And then we'll make a sketch on top of that, and we'll use a center point circle as always. We'll do a 5 mil top to this pin, and we can grab both these faces and come on now. Press pull, and we will make this, I think 3. Nope, we'll make it 2. And then, of course, we will fill at the edge 1. And we've got a pin. Beautiful. Let's get this into place so we can see how it looks, and then we'll move on to the next thing. I also think I want to round off this using an arc, but we'll get there in a minute. So first things first, let's get this pin oriented correctly. So let's bring it up and rotate it 90 degrees. Great. And now we can use our Align tool. I don't know how I survived working in Fusion 360 without the Align tool. I mean, it's necessary. It's not knowing what I'm doing. Great. Looks like our tolerances are good. All right, we're going to move this in. There it is. So, one issue that I overlooked. Very stupid. Look at the diameter of that pin. The arm is going to fall right off. I should have made it... I should have made the top of it 10 mil. So let's edit the sketches. We should be able to edit the sketches and not have a problem. So let's see. So if I just shut all these other sketches off. Let's try this one. Let's edit this sketch. All right, so the top, the top of this needs to be 10 mil. Finish sketch. Let's see if that updated this accordingly. Oh, yeah. How cool is that? Is Fusion 360 the best? Look at that. All I needed to do was update the sketch, and it completely updated my model. Love that. Love that. If I was doing this in Tinkercad, I would have had to go back and ungroup everything. I mean, it's just not even the same thing. So I want to just curve the edge of this because I want it to look nice. So let's do that with the arc tool. So we're going to get our 3-point arc. Let's see how we're doing on time here. Oh, we're doing great. Okay. There it is. Finish that sketch. Let's get that sketch turned on. And then basically we just need to press pull this way. Beautiful. And now if we turn our pin back on, I think that looks pretty nice. I think that looks great. Okay, very good. So, offset crank. This crank turns. That turns the wheel. This arm can rotate freely around this pin because we've modeled it with tolerances and there should be very little friction. Now, what we're going to need to do is figure out the piston side of things. And I have absolutely no idea how that's going to work. So I think we need to save this with a description so I can come back to it. So we're going to call this crank complete. So that if I royally mess up the piston, which I guarantee I will, I'll be able to come back and jump back to this point and we can give it another shot. Okay, so first things first. I think I want to extend this arm. I'm going to need to bring it, I'm going to need to rotate it. I guess I should figure out what the piston's going to look like before I do anything with the linkage. So I'm actually going to pull this back a bit and just get it out of the way, and then we'll deal with that later. So the piston is going to need to be dead center, and it's going to need a housing, right? The piston needs to be within a housing, otherwise it's just going to flop around. So I think what we'll probably do is maybe make like a tube of some kind that's just on a little stand, and then we'll put the piston inside of it and then hook up the linkage arm. I think that's going to be the case. Okay, and I think the piston has to be kind of large in diameter, because if we think about it, well, I don't know. I really don't know. I have no idea. So let's just start playing around with this and see what we can do. So we need to make a sketch on here. And I think maybe what I'll do is create a rectangle that will be, let's call it 20 by 75. I don't know. Okay, finish this sketch. All right, and so let's bring this up like 5 mil. Okay, now because I'm thinking that the piston's going to travel a bit of distance given the diameter of this circle. I mean, the diameter of the circle, I think I said, is 50. So there's basically 50 mil of travel. Because if you think about it, from this point to this point, this will be the piston all the way at the top, and over here will be the piston all the way at the bottom of its stroke. So it should be 50 mil of travel. So this probably is bigger than it needs to be, but it's fine because I can actually press pull this negative 25, right? And now that should represent, although I'm not going to do that. Let me leave it the way it is for now. So I think we need to design a tube that the piston will sit in. So the way I think we're going to do that, I think what we should do, let's sketch on this face, right? And I think I want the piston to be, I don't know, that looks close. I have no idea. 50 millimeters, like a 40 piston, 40 millimeters in diameter. That seems kind of large. I think like 25 is better. So 30. Okay, finish sketch, right? So now I can basically press pull this. This direction 75. Okay. And then I can make a circle in here. 25.5. Right? And then we can press pull this. Right? So now essentially we have basically like a tube that the piston is going to sit in. Right, and I feel like maybe I want to press pull this up one. Right, so they're like sitting together. Let's group these two things together. Oh, so this and this need to get grouped together. All right, let's combine. All right, cool. So that's now, I mean, this who knows how well this is going to work, but all right. So now we need to make I almost think I messed this up. Let's take a step back for a minute here. I think we need when the piston is all the way forward, I think we want this to be completely level. And then it pulls back. Yeah. So I feel like I need to bring this up. And I think I can figure that out. So 25... And I don't know. Let's see if we can figure this out. I know there's actually an easy way to do this. Oh, I know what we can do. Let's use our alignment tool. So we'll basically grab the... Oh, man. I can't grab the center point of this. Oh, come on. Oh, bodies. Alright, no, that's not going to work, I don't think. Let's see. Oh, it did. Wow, look at that. Okay, so I basically now have this tube, right? All right. Huh. Let's just save this. And then we can move this up. Right. And... oh, man. I feel like the tube that the piston is sitting needs to flare out. Almost like a bullhorn. Because there's going to be this articulation of this linkage arm. And I think if this is so narrow, it's going to knock into it. So, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. The other thing I should have done is... I probably should have set this up with the piston all the way back. I don't know. I don't know. What I'll do for the time being is get this out of the way. This is where I need to figure out how to simulate the motion. Because if I was able to do that, it would make my life significantly easier. Because then I could actually demonstrate the motion and see if it actually works. One of these days I'll figure out how to do that. So we're going to make a sketch. I'm not going to... I'm just going to make a sketch over here. Okay. I'm just going to make a sketch sort of off to the side over here. And we're going to make a 25 mil piston. All right? The piston is just a cylinder. I'm not going to put any piston rings or anything of the sort. I think I said I was going to make it 50. Right? There's my piston. Oh, you know what, actually? I'm going to redo something here. Awesome. Okay. So I think... what I'm going to do is sketch on top of this and use... okay, I have a great idea for how this is going to work. So 5 by 10. Okay, great. And then we can push-pull this. Maybe even more. Let's make it 30. Start like that. Okay. So, let's see if this works. I mean, this is just an experiment for the time being. So, oh, wait a minute. All right, let's just see what happens here. This is going to need to be tweaked, I'm sure. Oh, I probably should analyze the construction of an engine a little bit more closely. But let's see what we can do here. So, I'm going to start by aligning... how are we doing on time here? All right, we're getting there. This with the center point of this. Okay, cool. Right? And there should be tolerance. I should have modeled. There should be a bit of tolerance here, so that's fine. All right, so now let's bring this object in. All right, so let's call that the top, right? And I think what we'll do is let's bring... yeah, I'm going to need to make a bunch of adjustments to this, which is fine. It's all good. Whoa. I don't want to do that. Let's extrude instead of press pull. There we go. Okay. Obviously, I messed something up in the connection of this. Obviously, I messed something up. So, I think I need to scooch this linkage over a little bit. Yeah, let's take a step back. All right, yeah, so this drawing needs to get scooched over a little bit more. So it was here. I think it needs to be here. Right? Let's see if that works. Just gonna make it 20 for now. I mean, I don't know exactly what needs to happen. All right. Let's move this again. Move. Bring it up. Rotate it. Okay. We'll grab our center point here. If you're all enjoying this music, please throw a comment, because I'm certainly enjoying it. Wolf and Raven is awesome. They have a bunch of really cool EPs in addition to their full-length albums. I really like them. Okay. Okay, cool. And now this... I'm going to extrude that, because when I press pulled it, everything got all out of whack. Okay, so that's still not quite right. So you know what? Let's undo this. I'm not even going to do that sketch right now. Finish sketch. Let's get this all aligned first. So let's see if I can do this. Align this with this. Beautiful. And now... all right, so I really should make... We know that this is 50, and I think I made this 25. So let's make this 50. No, I need to extrude. So I need to bring that out another 20. And we'll bring this edge out 5. Okay, great. All right, so now that should be... All right, let's bring this... No, I want to extrude this. Let's bring this out. Okay, cool. All right, so now that should work. Good. All right, so now what I'm going to do is sketch on this face. Right, and I'm going to sketch here and make a 10 by 5. Great. Finish sketch. And then this can get press pulled out minus 10. Nope. 10. Wrong direction. Is that enough? Nope. Let's bring it out 20. Beautiful. Okay. So now I'm going to probably tidy some of this up shortly. 8. All right, so now we have a hole through both of these. I'm actually going to extrude this so it comes back a little bit. It's too much material. Let's see. Okay, cool. And so now we'll design a pin mechanism to go through this, as we've done in the past. Great. Great, great, great. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. And then we'll figure out how this piston is going to be set up. I do think we're going to need to flare out the receiving tube for it, so just save this. Okay. Let's see, we have about 10 minutes left here, so let's see if we can wrap this up. So, let's create a new sketch. Okay. We said that was 8, so we will make this 7.5. Okay, and I don't know how far that needs to go through. This is 5 and this is 5, and I think there's a millimeter in between, so we'll make it 11. So 11. Okay, and then let's sketch on top of this. And we'll make this 10. And once again, we'll make our pin mechanism 2. And then just flatten this off with our fillet tool, 1 millimeter. Done. Okay, great. So let's align this, and then I will do the other part. And I think this should go... I don't think it really matters. It probably does, but for the time being, I don't think it really matters. Okay, cool. So let's align this with this. Cool. Beautiful. Negative 10.5. All right, great. That looks pretty good. I'm going to just press pull this out, 0.5. There we are. Okay, beautiful. There's our linkage. Okay, this is coming together. This will probably function, but not well. We'll do a 5 millimeter hole here and press pull that in. -5. Okay, cool. So let's see what happens. Let me make a pin. New sketch. Okay. I don't know why that sketch is on. Shut that off. All right, so this is going to be, we made it so it'll be 4.5. It'll be, whoa. It's not visible. That's dumb. I do dopey stuff sometimes. All right, so 5 millimeters. Great, and then we'll do the same thing we did on the top. Sketch, center point circle, 10. Press pull that up. 2 millimeters. And then grab this outer edge and fillet by 1. Great, and we have our other side of our pin. Let's go ahead and move this. 9. I'm going to have to go back and name all this at some point, but in the interest of time, because I'd like to get pretty close to finishing this up today, which I probably won't, but we're going to move a little quickly. So 90 degrees. Let's use our alignment tool. So align. I'm going to grab this and align it with this. There we are. Great. And now we can move this in. All right, great. Okay, cool. All right, so I think what I'm going to do now, I do want to, like, flare this out a little bit. So I think first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude this back 5 millimeters, right? Okay, then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to... Oh, man. I need to think about this a little bit more because I did some things wrong here. It's fine. All right, cool. So we have to think that this is going to move 50 millimeters back this direction. So what I'm going to do... Let's actually bring this all the way back. Okay. Cool. And then what I'm going to do, check this out. Let's see if this works. Let's create an offset plane 50 millimeters back this way, right? Awesome. Okay. And then I'm going to sketch on this new plane. I'm just going to shut a few things off. Center point circle. And a second center point circle. 45. Okay, great. That's a finished sketch. Okay, now, the question is, can I select this and select this and use the loft feature Profile 1, profile 2. And profile 2. Cancel. Maybe this won't work. I thought this would have worked. But let's see. There's another way to do this, which I don't want to do, which I can draw like arcs and use the revolve tool. I don't want to do that. I want to use loft and profile 1. Loft cannot be changing the input, swapping profiles for rails or a center line. Okay. Center line. Cancel. All right, so let's try this again. Maybe we can do this in another way. So it's going to be center line. So the profile is going to be this. And the second profile is going to be this. And then the center line is going to be... All right, that's not working. All right, let's do this. Let me try something really quick. Press pull. Right, so now I have this ring. And what if I create a new sketch and see if that works? Let's create a new sketch on this face, right? And basically... Okay, so I now have 2 new sketches. Can I select? All right, wait a minute. So this, I'm going to get rid of this body. And then I should have... Where did my other sketch go? Did I mess that up? Oh, man, I messed that up. Okay. All right. So can I get rid of this? Actually, let's get rid of this. And can I get rid of this? Cool. All right, cool. Okay. Okay, so what if I offset this 50? Okay, right, that makes sense. And then let's sketch on our new plane here. Okay. So I should be able to loft. That's what I wanted to do. Perfect. Okay, great. That's it. So now, this, and this. Oh. Oh, I didn't want that face closed. Hold on. Almost. All right. Oh, maybe I selected the wrong one. I want just this and this. All right, let's try this again. I don't want it closed. Cancel. All right, maybe I need to... All right, why is that being weird? Can I press pull this -1, right? And then maybe this will work. So if I grab this and then this. Is this closed? That's opened. Okay. And this, loft. Why is that not working? This is super annoying. Let's try this again. All right, if I can't get this to work, I think we're going to pause for today, and I'll resume this next time. But we definitely made more progress than we did. Right, that's great. The question is, can I press pull this? Okay, so now that's not at all what I wanted to do. I want this to be hollow. All right, we're going to undo that. Undo all this. All right, so let's turn all the bodies back on and just quickly review what's happening here. So, missing one body. Okay, so, and then I can shut the sketches off. So let's just save this. So, I need... Maybe I don't need to have that flare out. Maybe I can just leave it. But at any rate, this is definitely an improvement. I know that this wheel should crank with no obstructions, and this linkage should be able to move as needed to allow the piston to move in and out. So I think that's a pretty good breaking point for today. Thanks so much for tuning in and bearing with me while I figure this out. Like I said, this is my third attempt at making this. It's probably going to be a fourth and fifth. I'll modify some things once I print them and test them. But I think now that we're modeling with a 0.5 millimeter of tolerance across the board, we should be in better shape with getting all the pins to fit properly. I'm also making the pins slightly larger. I was making them really small before, which is a little fragile. So we're making all the pins for the hinges a bit bigger. That should help. We're going to continue this on Tuesday of next week. Please join me as I figure this out. Thanks so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if you have any tips on how I can maybe do this a little bit more efficiently or a little bit better, throw it in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you on Tuesday. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay on top of all the great content we put out. And make sure you check out the DAE.com to check out our schedule of workshops and private lessons. If you want to learn how to model stuff in Fusion 360, drop us an email or give us a call, and we'll set something up. But thanks as always for tuning in, and I'll look forward to having you join me for the next one. Thanks so much.